it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Welcome everybody to I hear you, fan.
It's the computer.
Welcome everybody to Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am he, and we are here for another week of Talk Around the World. Hope everybody's doing well. We are streaming live direct on Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook Live, as well as YouTube. Please help us on our drive for 10,000 subscribers by going over to YouTube under Empower TV Network and giving us a like, share, but most importantly, subscribe. No matter where you're viewing us from, we do appreciate it, whether you're catching us live or on the replay. But even if it's on the replay, hey, go ahead and hit that share button and let other folks know about the show. It helps us grow organically, and it does help with the algorithms out there that lets everybody else know about the show as well. So please do us a solid and like, share, and subscribe. If you are a content provider, if you are looking to be able to platform any films, any shows, anything like that, and you would like to partner with us on the Empower TV network, where you can get your content exposed to folks on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, please reach out to us at theparkermedia@gmail.com. Send us an email so that we can get together and try to collaborate and be able to put your show live on the air or on the platform. There we go. Put it on the platform in our on-demand category as well. If you know of any filmmakers, if you know of any content providers that maybe they have a show that they do, or maybe they would like to try to help expand the reach, and you think this would be a good fit for them, please share our contact information with them. If you are a small business owner, if you're an event planner, if you have a side hustle where you make products, you're writing a book or anything like that, and again, you would like that exposure through commercial or some type of copy read, please reach out to us at theparkermedia@gmail.com. And we would love to talk to you about being able to broadcast that on air. Just speaking to some folks last night, Lori, and a lot of them are small business owners, and a lot of them want to come on to Empower. I already talked to them, and they were very excited about hearing about our platform and our ability to be able to put what it is that they do in front of others. So looking forward to getting some of those reads out over the next several weeks. So that should be exciting. But to give you guys an idea of what we do, we're going to do two quick commercials. One is from Jermaine Parker Realty in association with B.O. Parker Property Management. And then we'll also have a book, a children's book from Shanine and Sheldon Muldrow, Sawyer Kid Lawyer. So we'll be right back on the other side of this. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions that you'll make. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help you navigate through that process. We know that a home is more than just a place to live. It creates memories. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help. Give us a call and let us get started on your journey. Introducing Sawyer Kid Lawyer, Teacher versus Nap Time, a great book that will help your little one with reading, writing, and spelling. Coming from the authors
Shanine and Sheldon Moultrie. Please check this book out and support. Thank you so much.
Took me back out. All right. So everybody, that is how we do it. We have the commercials like that. If you would like to put your good or service on the air, just reach out to us again at theparkermedia@gmail.com, and we will get in touch with you and see how we can partner with you and help you out. All right. Y'all hear me good out there? Lori, you hear me good? I'm okay. Jermaine says yes too. All right, franchise. Just give the producer the thumbs up when you're ready to come on, and we'll get cracking. There's the thumb. There he is. Welcome, franchise. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm late and I'm eating dinner. So,
I see. All right. Right on. Right on. Well, you gotta stay well fed. I see. Nothing wrong with that. So, you know, as we talk about serious things on this show, I can't think of a topic more serious than the fact that it's April and that Easter will be here in 10 days, but that it's also 420. So what are y'all gonna do?
does that mean they got to rise and shine like the Lord? I mean,
I'm t-
I get high,
I, I,
I get high.
I just want to know if Snoop Dogg gonna be in the pulpit. That's what I'm trying to find out. I don't know how people are they gonna just celebrate on Saturday and go to
Oh,
church on Sunday.
mm.
How they gonna do this? Because I really want to know. I can't remember the last time Easter fell on 420. So I don't know what had happened before, but I've been thinking about
Well,
this last couple of weeks. I looked on the calendar.
there are plenty of
420.
people who smoke in the
How's
church
that gonna
parking
work out?
lot before or at the church. So it ought to be a 420. So I don't
so,
think it's going to slow
so,
that
so the
down.
church parking lot gonna smell like our church. Well, the
Yeah.
funny part will be if the pastor out there. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be interesting. I was just curious, just thinking what people are thinking out there about what's supposed to happen on 420 with that. Let's see.
You, you got to get
Okay,
that from the chat
thought we
because
had some
I
comments.
never smoked weed, so I don't have a particular expertise in that subject.
Yeah, me either. It's not not necessarily for me, but I know there's some folks that are committed to the cause, and I didn't know if that was going to be any kind of conflict of interest. you know, Celebrating 420 and Resurrection Day. That is a little. I mean, Lori, hits it pretty good, so I don't know how she's gonna do it, but
I think the conversions of people that
I'll let you.
smoke marijuana and people that celebrate Easter, that overlap is fairly small. So I don't think it's going to be a really big problem. That actually leads to
Okay, that's fair.
really off topic. Organized religion is declining in numbers. So
Yeah,
and smokers are increasing. So draw your own conclusions.
and even without those stats, you can kind of see that and feel that organized religion is declining. Why do you think that is?
Oh, easy. Excuse my blackishness, but we just played a clip. What 2 weeks ago? Lock the doors.
Oh,
Lock the doors. A lot of people
yeah.
see organized religion as a scam because really you're asking people to have faith, right, in things that you can't see, you can't touch. And in this day's age, when you can see almost anything and you can touch almost anything, it's just a hard sell. Um, People are not being brought up in the church. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to, which is easy, and I hate to use the word indoctrinate, but it's easier to raise a child into religion than it is to convert an adult into religion.
Mhm.
Because you already tell them
Yeah, I
about
guess
Santa
that's
Claus,
true
Easter Bunny, and
because if
all this other stuff.
yeah, if that's all you know from the get go, then it's a lot easier to continue that on. But to try to bring somebody in after they've been exposed to a lot of contrary things does make it a little bit harder. And I agree with you, Jermaine. I think the biggest issue is that, like anything else, and as we talk about politics, but religion is not insulated from being hijacked or their message being hijacked by people's motives. Now, you could say that that's not something new. That depending on what church you fell into, you may have seen that from a long time ago. I know I have, where you start to look at uh, churches and the emphasis that churches have on certain things that are not tied to their foundation or their biblical principles, where you're like, wait a minute, is this really the teachings or is this somebody's opinion
I
being
think I was gonna say I think a lot of it is sort of like our government. Organized religion is out of touch with the people it's trying to cater to, or trying to reach, and it's just not working for them. In much the same way, where there's an old standard, this is what we do kind of thing. If you actually, is it movement? Is that the churches? What's the name? What's the name of the all these little mega churches? I thought it was movement, but anyway, there are younger churches out there who are using things like they have Starbucks in the church. No one wears suits and ties. It's come as you
Mhm.
are. The message is catered to relatable issues that people are dealing with now. Um, Still using the same teachings and foundation stuff, but updated for I don't know what to call this new generation. They're not millennials, whatever they are, younger people. Um, and the same thing with our government not being able to adapt and meet needs. People walk away from it. So whether it's organized religion or organized governments, it's got to be adaptive and it's got to keep up.
Yeah, it's funny because they talk about make America great again, but I think some churches fall into that kind of mindset of trying to go back years past in the way religion was. And to your point, uh, families are different now. They're more um, biracial. They're not the typical way families used to look that would go to church. Um, from a variety of ways. The way that folks now are has changed, and some of the things that certain churches uh, do or have done, almost in a lot of ways, not almost, but in a lot of ways, pushes them away because it's like you're speaking past me, you're not speaking to me.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, there's a lot of social shaming in church, right? You
yes,
know, if you want to go back and stuff, well, you're not talking to gay people. You're not talking to single parents, Whitlock and stuff. You know, there's a lot of exclusionary things within that religion. Now, excuse me, within organized religion, because if you go solely based off of just religion itself, and you take a prophet like Jesus, and you go, hey, look at how he intermingled with all these people that you socially shame now. That, I think is one of the things. Like, if Jesus was to show up now in America and stuff, they would deport him
oh
and call
yeah,
him a and call him a communist.
hmm that's
So we're, and again, not all churches, but The brand suffers.
Right, right, right. And that's the whole thing. It's been hijacked to the point that it's hard for people to trust that this one is going to be different because there's so many examples of other ones. And that's why I said a couple of weeks ago when that whole Sapp video got out there, I was like, whatever his real motivation was for doing all of that, him not having the ability to know that, hey, this is going to go viral, and this is everything that people have said is why they don't go to church. Like and there may be people that truly believe in God that say, you know what, I'm going to have my relationship with God at home. I'm going to worship the way I want to worship. I don't need the validation of people at a brick and mortar building to help me with my relationship with God. People think, if you don't actually go to a church service, then it's almost like, well, you're not as much of a Christian as I am.
Well,
And
and that's the social shaming too. There,
yeah,
people say, "So what?" You got to think about this generation and how they consume. Just like we're on doing this podcast stuff. Um,
hmm
could we do a live show? Sure. I mean, in terms of like having an audience and stuff like that, but that's not really the blueprint anymore, right?
right.
That's not how people consume their information and their entertainment. When you look at and you nailed on the head when you said brick and mortar. How many companies have gone away from brick and mortar because they understand that's not the way to be? Blockbuster, rest in peace.
That's why
Off,
that's why malls are dying. That's why commercial properties, like office buildings, are dying because people are getting that.
well, newspapers.
Newspapers. Yeah,
And like I say, think about all the ways music. How many people have non-digital music? Now there are people who are always going to be collectors that will have vinyl and stuff like that, or whatever But the majority of people now have non-physical digital media, whether it be music or video games or ebooks and stuff like that. People just don't need that, especially as prices are rising, spaces are becoming more restricted and stuff. You don't have space for that kind of stuff. It's easier to keep it in the cloud. Um, and I think those are some key things that if you are at the higher echelons of like Southern Baptist, Lutheran, Catholic and stuff, things that you might want to be talking about. How do we streamline our message the way that people consume it most?
mhm, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I think we just have to, or religion, and has to adapt and change. And I think there's a line that you can adapt and change without necessarily changing your core principles. But sometimes it's not what's inside the box; it's how the package is wrapped, um, that people need to be able to look at. So, but I think if you kept that same wrapping for so long, and sometimes we just do things a lot of times just out of habit, tradition, and things like that, but realize not accepting the fact that that's old, stale, and uh, out of date, and you lose your relevance when you do that. So, anytime any institution goes down that path, then they're sure to see what we're seeing now, which is a decline in people identifying themselves as. You'll have more people identifying themselves as religious, at, but not somebody that goes to a place of worship. So I am noticing that too. So anything on that too, Lori?
Sorry, can you hear my fan?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh,
Is that your only fan?
no, it's the computer fan, but for this way. But yes, you're very true about the organized religion. I can say for myself, I have always gone to mass and everything else, and ever since we've moved and everything else, I haven't exactly gone into a physical church in years. So plus the plus with everything, it's just and it just and with also with people there are that if you're there going for your own personal salvation or anything else, then you got to also deal with the crazy people, the fanatics, or the ones that are sitting there and judging when I'm just trying to have a relationship with the God that I worship. So it's just in a serious decline, and it's sad.
Yeah. Well, but and I agree with you. I just think that to close it up though, you just have to reinvent yourself a lot of times and figure out if you want to grow. Sometimes you have to go to where the people are. It's not always a matter of you putting your flag in the ground and saying, "Come to me." You have to know where the people are, and you got to be able to go to them. It's like me working in the hotel business, and I always try to tell my owners and stuff like that, "Hey, listen, if you think all it takes to run your hotel is to keep your doors unlocked and your lights on, and people just won't automatically come to your hotel, then you're out of your mind." As much as they cry and they complain about sites like Expedia and Booking.com, and you know, why do we pay them these commissions and stuff like that? I'm like, because your customers use those channels. So, uh, as much as I understand that you don't like to pay those commission margins, unless you like more not being able to pay the mortgage, you need to make a decision. And you need to make sure that you do everything that you can, number one, to stay fresh and relevant on those channels. Make sure that the way you appear on those channels is appealing to people. Make sure that your quality at your property is good, because they will hide you away on their site depending on whether your review scores are good or bad. You got bad review scores, you're going to show up at the very bottom of the page. You got really good scores, you're going to show up at the top of the page. So your reputation is attached to them, and it determines how you appear on their sites. All of that is to mean that a lot of times there's a thing of uh, necessity where you have to be able to use those different ways to be able to bring people in.
Well, the pandemic facilitated a lot, or it helped motivate a lot of people to change up their business plan, right? Because we couldn't gather. And churches were some of the biggest people that yelled out against the limitations to how many people could gather in the same place.
Mhm.
Um, Instead of fighting against the machine, it was a perfect opportunity to change the way
Right.
that they do business. And again, uh, like you talked about, bottom line for hotel owners, it's the bottom line for these nonprofits. Is that they need people. Churches need donations to stay open.
Mhm.
Um, Very few of them have any kind of product other than the Lord that they sell, and so with notwithstanding that, which you don't have to go there to get, or you can go to 1,000 other places. How do you make your church stand out? How do you accomplish what your core mission is of spreading the word and providing salvation for people? How do you do that if you're not willing to change your model and reach the people that you need to reach?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's turn into the next subject. Jermaine, I know last week, what you got there? What? I've never heard of that.
What?
Fat boy.
hmm OMB. Have you heard of OMB, Old Mecklenburg Brewing Company?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is their dark porter.
Oh, is it sold in stores?
You can go to Harris Teeter
Oh,
um, and
all right.
grab Captain Jack's, which is like a light ale. I'm more of if I do drink a beer, kind of a Guinness. If for people who are familiar, dark porters like that. So yeah, cheers.
Well, it's funny. Old Mecklenburg Brewery, it used to be where the old Queen Park movie theater and all was,
Yep.
that they tore down and turned into a brewery. And I was just talking to somebody else about that the other day. How Charlotte, I think it was I was speaking to your cousin Tawny at Kim's reveal. about how Charlotte went from only having South End Brewery at one point in Tremont and South Boulevard to now having breweries all over the place, whether it's Ice, OMB, Sycamore, Highwire. Um, yeah, I can't even think of all of them. There's so many of them. You know, there's way uh, twice as many that I could name. Uh,
Hmm.
but it's so many now in Charlotte and everything. Everybody's got a brewery. Hell, we even got a brewery over here in Concord at the old Gibson Mill. That's basically a food court, and they have a brewery in there, which actually is pretty good and not very expensive at all. So without going out and take a look, but very good, really nice stuff. So that's actually become a thing. I've seen that come back in the last several years. I've seen, of course, the same thing with cigar bars and things like that come back over the last several years too. So it's kind of funny how to see that, and now they're putting their products in the grocery stores with distribution. So that's pretty cool too. Well, we're going to have to rely on that because if it's imported, it's going to come with an extra price tag on it because of tariffs. And I know we didn't do the show last week because I just, man, sometimes I just need a break. I can't. Um, but
Well,
and
you
last,
look like a Jamaican, so yeah, you do need a break.
yeah, that's true too. Don't look like that, Lori. That's not true. It's just a joke.
Mm.
Oh man,
No, no, no. You are West Indian
no,
by far,
just-
by far.
I have several clones that do a lot of different things at one time.
No, 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 no. You are the true. We got 5 jobs.
I get
Five,
5 jobs.
5 jobs.
Bumble black cloth.
I'm a
Nah,
postman. I'm a cleaner.
no. All I know is no. It's a matter of where in the world is Brian right now. That's where
Mm.
you are,
It
and
could be
and doing what?
it could be a lot of different things at any time. So. Speaking of which, before I get into the tariffs, I do want to give a shout out to the uh, NAREB, National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I've got invited to one of their events on Monday. It's Realtist Week um, for the Realtist, and they've been having events all week, a lot of things, but they did a takeover at Top Golf the other night. So we went out there and just kind of rented out a couple of bays and hit the balls and stuff like that. And last night they had a nice little get together celebrating the Realtist, celebrating their YRD division, which is the Young Realtist division, and had some actually had the president of the whole division come in from Los Angeles. The YRD president come down from Chicago. There was a lot of good people there at the after nine bar on Albemarle Road in Redmond. So it was a nice little spot to get together with. So got a lot of great information, but Jermaine never knew what a realtist was. Did not understand about what how that was set up in 1947 and all of that stuff. So I learned a lot of good stuff with that.
Yep, I still don't know. That's awesome that you learned something.
I did. You should look it up. Look it up. Look at what a realtist is. But it is a designation for a realtor. Realtor can be a realtist. They don't have to be, but it's a good organization. It's really kind of in place to help um, African American community and people of color and underserved areas be able to establish generational wealth and things like that too. So it's a little bit more focused there. A lot of connections and things like that. Whether people are mortgage lenders, title folks, folks that work in all different parts of the industry other than just real estate brokers are always out and helping grow that part, helping close the gap between home ownership and black home ownership and things like that as well. So they do a lot of
Well,
stuff.
that's gonna be damn near impossible here in the next couple of years, but yeah.
it's
Good
gonna
luck.
it's gonna be a haul. It is definitely gonna be a haul. But yeah, but back to the tariffs. I know last week, Jermaine, you were ready to go about the tariffs, and I know that there's been pause as of yesterday on most of the stuff. But that kind of really goes into the fact of, well, why was there a pause? If you had a clear message about what you're doing, if you had a clear end game as to what you're doing, and it was done in a thoughtful, procedural way, there'd be no need for it. Now, of course, I'm not under any disillusion that any of that was going to ever be present or that there were any other reasons for this other than for somebody's ego to be stroked. Um, we've talked before about what tariffs are and what tariffs aren't. Tariffs in and of themselves are not bad, but they have to be strategic. The purpose of a tariff, a lot of times, is to uh, grow an industry that may need more steering towards it and to disincentivize those from reaching out to other places where they can get things cheaper basically undercutting that's when you can basically target a tariff. But to just do a flat out tariff against a country based on their location, well, you're China, so I'm gonna make anything that you bring here go up by X
Well,
amount.
I will say so. The problem is that and like I say, it's not thoughtful. It's not thought out. The problem really is not necessarily just because it's China or flat. It's a misunderstanding of trade.
Yes.
Its basic core. And so, what the administration was doing was saying that we have a trade deficit around the world.
Hmm.
What what people understand, first of all, is that America decided years ago, decades ago, that it was not going to be a producer of goods, but a consumer of goods.
That's why manufacturing went away.
That's why
Hmm.
manufacturing.
Yep.
Um, so you're like we all pay tariffs. If you bought a Honda or any foreign car, BMW and stuff, you have paid a tariff.
Yeah.
Because what I don't, in particular, if you go and the reason that these accords and stuff cost so much is because if we allow them to come in the country for the price that it actually costs Honda to make it and ship it and stuff, it would be thousands of dollars less. And why would you ever buy an American made car if you could buy a better made car that's going to last you longer and cost $10,000 less?
Hmm.
So they add tariffs to those cars and stuff, and then they pass the cost along to you. So the Honda that would probably cost you like $20,000 now costs you $25,000 so it can compete with American made cars.
Right.
Those are targeted, and so, but there's a good reason for that, right? It's not just to the disadvantage of foreign governments; it's to the advantage of American workers who produce those cars. If we let foreign cars come in here without tariffs and stuff, we'd have to close down those factories
Oh
because
yeah.
no one in their right mind
Oh,
would.
Michigan would shut down.
Yeah.
It would be.
So there's a good reason. Same thing with it, whether it be produce or anything else that can be made cheaper and shipped here. There's usually a tariff attached to it to make it competitive. Because remember, Americans are not working for pennies on dollars. But that's the reason they send manufacturing overseas because it was cheaper, bottom line, to send
Hmm.
it overseas, produce overseas. Even paying the tariff to get it back in the country still made them money.
Yes. And Jermaine, that's a great point, and that's a weird concept for people to believe. But that goes back to what I had said before about how even when you're talking about oil and people thinking that every time we drill oil here in the United States, everything stays here, not understanding the complexities of the economy is a global economy. That so many things are tied to each other. One thing when we talk about a tariff is a tax on the importing country. Now, it does affect the country trying to send you the goods because if you make the tariffs to a point that the importer won't buy them anymore, then it affects how much the exporter is being able to rely on your dollars. So if you take a country like a China, or I'll give you even a better one, because again, to your point, it's a simple misunderstanding of how trade works. All trade deficits aren't bad. In fact, trade deficits are really good in a lot of ways because if the United States is the richest country in the world, which we always claim it is, then and we consume so many things that are imported, it means that we have a greater demand for things outside of the country than what we ship out of the country. And by definition, that will create a trade deficit.
Well,
There was
like
a
you said,
perfect, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, say now, like if you go to a barber, you have a trade
Mhm.
deficit. You purchase a service. What does he purchase from you?
Nothing.
Nothing. But you're getting
But
your hair cut, so it doesn't matter that
we
the
both,
trade deficit is uneven.
yes, we both benefit.
You
I
both
look,
benefit from it.
and his pockets get fat. He found my hairline, which ain't easy to do. Don't, Lord, ooh, 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 I saw your face. Oh, I saw your, no, don't look like that now. I saw it. I saw it. Because I said that he found my hairline. Oh, you lit up like a Christmas light. Yeah, okay. Look,
Yeah,
I, I
respect.
yeah, I see. Yeah, respect. But anyway, but that's true. He found my hairline, and I
It's
paid
still
him.
there.
Hey, and I
It's
tipped.
still there. And you
Hey,
have
now
and you have long flowing hair, and it's this one. It's there.
listen, you about to get booted. But yeah, he found my hairline, and instead of me just paying him what he charged, I even tip him for it. So you're right though, Jermaine. And there was this example that just kind of hits home. Madagascar produces 80% of the vanilla in the world. We do not produce any. So we have a need for vanilla. So we import vanilla from Madagascar. Now, Madagascar, though, is one of the poorest countries out there. So not only would they never be able to reciprocate the same amount dollar for dollar that we bring from them, they couldn't afford to. Even
Yeah.
if they wanted our stuff, they couldn't afford to. That deficit imbalance, which now they've been hit with a tariff, is never going to be even.
Well, and
Never.
then the other thing is, what is it that America is known for producing that other countries can buy? The only thing that we know for producing are guns,
Mhm.
prisoners, you know, and
Bourbon.
reality TV. If they would like to purchase some housewives and some AKs, I'm sure we can hook them up. But we don't produce enough, and so I say that facetiously because obviously one of the big things if people don't understand about America and the economy is it's farmers. That's actually probably our biggest export is going to be in outside of uh, intellectual property that a lot of companies create, but really for consumer advice, like what can we distribute? It's that's why USAD was so important because they had brokered a lot of deals for farmers to sell their stuff overseas, the countries that needed it, and so that's where
Yeah.
um, the tariffs are and those the tariffs are really going to hit a lot of those farmers and stuff. Uh, yeah, this man is USAD. A lot of those people they're talking about. We talked about it. What state was it? They were talking about it's going to be shut. It's going to have an economic failure here in a couple of months um, because of these economic policies. Trump was it Nebraska or
Yeah.
it's some Midwest state.
It was. Yeah. Hmm.
But all the
Yeah.
people that voted for Trump
Absolutely.
are he's taking money out of their pockets.
Well, that's the crazy thing. When Trump is talking about these tariffs will raise billions and billions, He's so stupid. Everything's billions and billions. He just loves to say that word. And then sometimes even trillions. If it does, you're doing it off of the backs of either. Well, okay, you're doing it off of the backs of all of the imports, and you're not charging the country that you think you're charging. You're penalizing us from importing it from that country. And people still can't figure that out. So even if you did talk about cutting taxes for everybody or getting rid of the income tax, you just replace it with tariffs. So we still paying taxes. You just calling it something else. That's all. You're not. What's wrong, Lori? What's wrong?
Is
Go
there
ahead.
any truth? Is there any truth to what I was hearing that he's going to offer another refund? I keep hearing that, you know, that supposedly that he's going to offer like as another, when COVID, when everyone was getting like refund
Oh,
checks or
like
something like that. Yeah, like a stimulus. Like there's not like a one-time $5,000 stimulus.
So a lot of people, Trump supporters in particular, and minority like black people, have been floating that rumor because evidently there's some black people who do anything for a check. What people have been saying is that Musk and Doge have uncovered all this money and stuff, and why don't they give it back to the taxpayer? The reason is because they have not.
right.
In fact, Elon's companies take more government subsidies, uh, almost in what they claim to really have found fraud, waste, and abuse. Um, and a lot of stuff they found wasn't necessarily fraud or abuse; it was just big government. It's like when you start off as a teenager, your spending budget is small. But by the time you're like 60 years old, it's probably grown triple, quadrupled from what it is because now you got houses, cars, mortgages, stuff, things you didn't have to be concerned with. And government works much the same way, where we talk about he wants to kill the Department of Education. Well, why do we have a Department of Education? Why don't we just let the states decide? Well, because we've shown in the past that the states will decide some racist ass shit.
Right.
And so they will not. They won't do what they're supposed to do. And so the federal government has put together things that are sticking carrot for states to behave. Um, and that's the other thing too when they talk about deregulation. When there's too many regulations, if there's a regulation, it's probably because somebody acted in bad faith and somebody said we need to close the loophole on this. 9 times out of 10, regulation isn't just born of what could happen; it's born of what has happened.
It's a reaction more than a
Yeah,
reaction.
this United States government. What proactive thing have they ever done outside of villainizing trans athletes?
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
Trying to
not a
get
problem, but we gonna get ahead of it before it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking because is that supposed to stimulate the economy to where people are going to go out and buy something more because everything else is
No,
costing more, so it's
Now,
really less, and then
it's a way of, to me, it's a distraction technique because as long as people think that there's something for them that's coming, that's around the corner, you'll put up with bullshit a lot longer than you normally should.
there
That's
have
all it
been
is.
there have been surpluses in the budget where the citizens got a stimulus check. It happened under Clinton. It's actually never happened under Republicans. There's never been a surplus. Now you could argue that there were Republicans that put policies in place that when Democrats took over, that's where they came from. Make your arguments in the comment section if you like. But the fact is that it doesn't happen under Republicans. And when those stimulus, when the excess of money has come into the budget, yes, and we got checks and stuff. If he was to write a check now, we have a deficit. And right now, I think the House advanced his budget for tax cuts and stuff to add to that deficit, not take away. So any kind of stimulus and stuff would just be us again mortgaging the future, which Republicans always claim to be about the purse and making sure that we're financially conservative. I don't understand. I do understand. I'm lying. I was about to say I don't understand how they can have such staunch views with Democrats in office and such lax views when there's Republicans in office. It's because they don't really believe that stuff. It's just that we don't want you spending money. Republicans, I heard the difference between Republicans and Democrats where Democrats would feed 100 people in fear of one person going hungry, and Republicans would not feed 100 people in fear of one person getting a benefit that they didn't need. Um, and the and whether you believe that to be true or not, again, at me. Um, I'm willing to fight about it too. But it really is when you look at all their policies and stuff. It's always, oh, the country, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But it's always in the context of don't help people. They have
And
no
when
problem helping corporations, helping millionaires, because they believe them to be worthy of help. But the citizens that they're supposed to represent and serve, they don't think you guys are worth it.
Yeah, my man Andre agrees with you. He says franchise is correct. I know you like hearing that part. The last
Well,
the last surplus was under Clinton. Thanks, Andre. Um, but yeah, so no, you're right, and that's normally what happens. Normally, the economy gets screwed up during Republican administrations, and then Democrats come in. That's what happened uh, um, when Clinton came in. He basically did get that surplus, but it was because of a bad economy left by Bush. Then Clinton hands over to uh, the next Bush, and it goes down. Obama comes in uh, because that Bush handed him the Great Recession of 2007, 2008.
now
Obama comes.
I will say you can argue whether Bush number one had some things in place at the end of his term that helped Clinton at the
For
beginning of
sure.
his term, and that Clinton had some things at the end of his term that disparaged Bush number two. What you can argue is 2007, 2008,
Mm,
that they were turning it around when Obama got there. No, it was dog crap at that point. He
mm.
did that. But, black people, that's how we get chicken wings and chitlins and everything else because we know how to turn scraps into some succulent.
That's true. We can whip it up. That's why I'm just still trying to get Lori into some chitlins, and some liver mush, and everything else. And I think
Absolutely not.
we're getting closer and closer to that day by day.
Day
No,
by
we are
day.
not. Ever.
We're almost there.
No, I
See
am
you saying
far
there's a chance.
away. No, far away.
She's actually going to make me a chitlin cake, actually. But anyway, we're
No,
gonna.
I am not. That is gross.
Mm, mm.
It is not. That is gross.
Yeah, shit with a camel in it. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. The flame will never go out. But anyway, so it's funny though. But with the tariffs and everything, did you guys hear about the herd in McDonald Islands also being susceptible? Speaking of not being thoughtful about tariffs, the herd in McDonald Islands, which is a part of Australia, also got hit with Trump's tariffs. Now, we'll talk about how they came up with these tariffs, but then you start deciding who to target your tariffs to. And part of the whole thing with tariffs were the messaging sucked to begin with. Because remember, we were going to the first tariff, Mexico and Canada, not because that they've been getting us with trade, is because of all the fentanyl that keeps coming across the border that we seem to have a high demand for. But there was only 0.02% that was even coming in from Canada. But he used an emergency act to be able to do that, to put those tariffs on there. And then he changed it to it was because of a trade deficit. It was, and and then here's this fool. Canada and Mexico have been screwing us. The trade is unfair. Who would have negotiated this type of trade deal with them?
It was Donald Trump.
You did.
He did not like the deal
Yeah.
that was in place, the NAFTA deal that was in place when he got into office. So he went in and renegotiated the deal, and then he forgets he did it and complains about the deal. You talk about, they tariffed a island that didn't have any humans on it.
Just
It
like
does have a herd of penguins down there. And the thing is that when you see, I mean, this goes back to um, adding the reporter in on the signal chat.
yes,
The administration is just very, very sloppy. Very, very, when they talk about this is going to be the most transparent, they don't mean intentionally transparent. They mean that we're going to fuck up so much you're going to see what we're doing
right.
because we're clowns. And that's not what transparency is.
No, that's
Um,
the point of transparency.
just because I can see your foolishness doesn't mean that you didn't intend for that. Oh, like they were arguing, when Elon is having a public spat with uh,
JD Vance.
no,
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 no. Peter
Peter
Navarro.
Navarro,
Yeah,
who
called him a damn moron. No, no, said he was
retard,
dumber than a bag of bricks or something like
yeah,
that.
told him retardo, um, and the thing is that both of them suck. So it's like you can't pick them. You can't pick somebody to root for in this conversation.
Yeah, right.
But the administration is sloppy. Even the formula that they use for the tariffs, somebody said there was something that they got off Chat GBT.
It was,
Um,
but
and
that's how they've been cutting the government jobs. They've been using algorithms.
well,
That's how,
which is what everyone uses in business. And again, the government's not a business. You can't run it like a business
right,
because the government's not there technically to make a profit. If it's there, because if the government is run like this and it's there to make a profit, it doesn't serve citizens. Because let's take any department of government, whether it be, let's say, a decent public service, firefighting. Well, in Charlotte, they built enough fire stations that uh, fire stations are built so that they have a 5 minute coverage. They can get to anywhere within 5 minutes from a call. It's brilliant in terms of responsiveness to being responsive to the community. And if your house is on fire or if you're having a medical emergency, that's why the fire department usually shows up first.
right,
Um, and a lot of time there'll be police there. There definitely be medic there. But if you run that like a business, you go 5 minutes is excellent. Do we really need to do excellent? Because think of all the facilities that we're making and stuff, and all the extra firemen and all the extra equipment and stuff. Our business, because we need to make a profit and stuff, says that 20 minutes is good for you.
right.
And if you know anything about,
Our
yeah,
board feels like we can maximize our profits
yeah,
in 20 minutes.
yeah, which means we get less coverage and less protection. And if your house never catches fire, I guess that's fine. But when it does,
Mm, have an evacuation plan.
yeah, I guess say pull yourself out by your bootstraps. Um,
Yeah, that's where that comes from because it's not going to always be in everyone's benefit, but they will look at those as acceptable losses.
and that is kind of the problems in America from its inception has been poor white people. Let's give you some boogeymen to be afraid of. Let's
Mhm.
give you the idea we're gonna keep all the money, but we're gonna tell you that America is a land of opportunity, and you too could become a millionaire. And the thing that's crazy is that there have been white people been poor since America, since they got in America and stuff. Ain't never had no money and stuff, and still believe that dream. This country is not here to bail you out and to prop you up. But I've said it before, and we talk about education system. I am a detractor of the American education system. It used to be first in the world. We're like 40th or something now. I mean, we're nowhere close to being the top in our education. It's because again we have not adjusted what we teach. The American education system was really only brought forward to make sure that people could move to the industrial age, that they could actually be factory workers and stuff, that they could read and write just enough and comprehend and do math just enough to do the jobs that needed to be done. And that model has not changed. It's no longer factories, but I need somebody who can get my order right at Starbucks because I'm not going to do it. And that's the other thing too when we talk about bringing back jobs and the whole purpose that Trump says for some of these tariffs is that to force people to reinvest in America to get around the tariffs is to bring factory jobs back. Nobody wants an $8,000 iPhone. Nobody wants to work in an iPhone factory. Number one, because the jobs that they keep talking about, bringing factory jobs back are for automated factories, not actually for workers. They're saying, well, the workers are going to be the people that maintain the robots. You don't need 1,000 people maintaining robots in a particular factory.
Nope.
You're talking about 3 shifts of 5 people.
Right. That's
And
right.
so,
And actually, the iPhone was calculated the other day that if all of the parts of an iPhone were made in the United States of America, the iPhone would cost $30,000.
I,
That's
you know,
and
it's wild, but I believe it.
it's $1,000 as it is.
Yeah. It's wild, but I mean, and maybe I don't believe 30. But I mean, it's a lot. It'd be a lot. It'd be a
It
lot
would be
more than you pay for now.
it would be a lot more. It
Uh,
would have to be.
well, and again, this circles back because all this stuff. So I will say this: none of this stuff is in isolation. It's all tied together. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about why does Trump want Greenland? Why does Trump want concessions from Zelensky about mineral rights and stuff? These are the reasons and stuff, because we don't have the minerals to make batteries and stuff like that. When we talk about EVs and stuff, that's not something that's naturally occurring here. Um, and so there are reasons why he wants these countries. It's not just one-off type stuff. It's not just curiosity or him just being dumb. Uh, he would actually be better off just to say it, I think, because it's not like his cronies care what he says or what his reasons is. So he could tell the truth. Oh yeah, I want to have a monopoly on this stuff.
Canada, he talks so much junk about Canada, but he realizes the resources that Canada has that we don't. The lumber
Yeah.
by itself, the energy. Come on.
I mean, he's also put in an order to restart the coal program and put more emphasis on that, even though
Yeah.
like that's going to really put a dent in it.
That's red meat. that's what that is. That's red meat to its base of coal workers that do not want to get away to energy because it will kill their industry. Um, there are certain industries that do have to go away. Manufacturing went away, and the promise of bringing most manufacturing back has always been a red herring out there to people that vote to make them think, oh man, they're going to bring manufacturing back. They're going to open up the plants.
Well, so who works in the plants? Who would benefit from that? So it's blue collar workers, right? And that's the base. And so it's for people who it's not, hey, we're going to get more IT stuff because you'd have to go get a degree for that. And we know that because we don't value education that way. We offer the carrot of low or high paying, low education jobs, which are factory jobs.
Right.
And apologies to anybody who works in a factory who didn't know that's what it was. But those are factory jobs, and that's why they wanted them serious. Some people don't know.
No, I know. That's true.
And they want and what we've seen, and we go back to the American automotive industry and stuff. Look what happens when you put Americans in factory jobs. The unions will come, the prices will go up, and then you're having to tariff out anyway because somebody else is like, well, I don't care if they, we even with even with tariffs in place, it's hard for American products to compete. We are the consumers of the world. That is our place in the bigger picture of the world and stuff. We are not producers of much of anything. And the things that we do export, we have worked out trade deals for those things to benefit those rural farmers and some of those factory owners. And a point that Peter Navarro made about Elon Musk is that he's not a car manufacturer. He just puts cars together. He buys all the reason that the China stuff is hit because a lot of his electronics come from Taiwan, a lot of his parts come from China and stuff. That all they do at the Tesla factory in America is they assemble
Put it
the
all
part
together there.
because that's the all you need to do. You don't have to make everything in America. It just needs to be assembled in America, and you can
Right.
call it an American product. And that's what Elon does. And so he's like, that's the reason you're worried. You don't care about America and Trump's vision and stuff. You're worried because it hurts your bottom line. And I thought you were here for the country and stuff. And then, Elon's retort to that was just to call them names. So I hate to root for Peter, but Elon, supposedly one of the smartest men in the world, didn't have a educated response to that other than just to call the man names.
Well,
So he must have been right.
well, and they even talked to your point, even the folks that make Ford cars, GMC, and things like that, they said the same thing. Yes, I guess we finished assembling in America, but there's a lot of parts in a Ford
Oh yeah,
that that come from overseas. There is no such thing as a 100% American-made vehicle.
I think
I,
I think years ago Saturn
yeah,
had their vehicles were largely manufactured and assembled in the states.
was
Um,
Tennessee or something, right?
Tennessee, yeah.
But yeah, so even Ford and GMC and all them have said, look, there's certain components that we have to get from overseas. So it's still going to impact us one way or another, several parts. Just because the factories and the plants are here doesn't mean that everything comes from here. Again, another lack of understanding the global market and trade. And there's certain things like you said, that we don't produce. I'm sorry, Jay, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say was, I say that again. Pitch salt did not understand it. I think he does understand. I think the thing that you have to understand about Trump, because he's bragged about this several times, is that he likes the disruption that he's causing. He likes, because he'll say all these countries are calling me trying to kiss my ass,
Oh,
trying to make deals.
he said the quiet part out loud with that. That's what it was
He
always about.
That's what he wants. He wants the world to grovel at his feet. He
Yeah.
likes the control that he has over, it doesn't matter because he knows he took all his money out. Or he bet against the economy in the stock market and made money when the tariffs hit, knowing that it would go down.
Oh,
He's not so naive to be betting on the Dow to go up when these tariffs are coming. He put his money the other way and bet the other way. And then before he made his pause and stuff, I'm sure he took his money out and then bet the other way that the stock market was going to recover. There's a AOC is talking about that people senators who traded in the last 48 hours need to be under review.
they do. They do. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is already getting hit because she did make some moves right before he made that announcement. All out.
Millions of dollars worth of moves.
Yeah, she did. She sure did. Um, but who should be surprised because Trump did the same play during COVID. He and even bragged about it and said, those that needed the ventilators, if you're nice to me, you'll get them first. Even JB Prisker acknowledged that he had to be overly um, praising of Trump to be able to get ventilators sent to Illinois because that's what Trump wanted. Trump wanted people to go on the news shows, on the Sunday news shows, and sing his praises so that they
Hmm.
get cooperation from him. Now, it should be bigger than anything else when COVID's going on. People are dying left and right and everything else. You're the president and everything. You should be trying to help everybody out and stuff like this. But the only thing that he was worried about was who's going to kiss my ass.
Look, when you can regrow your own ear, you ain't got to worry about COVID. You are obviously immortal and not subject to the physical laws of man.
Obviously.
So the only thing left is to be praised like the God that you are, and that's what he wants. He wants people to bend the knee That is such a big thing with him. If you just look back at his history and stuff, that is really bigger than, because it's not about making money because he's been bankrupt like 6 times. It's that's not it. It is about the admiration and adulation, and this is one of those kind of things. I don't think he was breastfed. I don't think that the man was cuddled as a child and stuff. No one played ball with him, and no one said "I love you" and stuff. And this is what happens.
There's a
So
difference. When you're not breastfed, it does hit different.
yeah, you get it to the email.
Always something about them hit different.
Yep, and y'all can at me for that too if that's something that you want to help me out with.
I'm just trying to, it's funny. I did that, and Lori's face doesn't change. I say my barber finds my hairline, and she sits up, she lights up, and everything else. But as soon as I start talking about motorboating, nothing. I get nothing. But if I
That's
talk about
because
my hairline,
she's the best producer in the game.
no, she not. Now see, you say that. Look at her. Start talking about being breastfed. She's like,
Well, in her defense, we talk about a lot of wild shit, so you can't get too up and too down
well,
on this.
She picks and chooses what gives her the rise.
Yeah, you can't. You'll be all over the place following the conversation.
I like the fact that my contribution has been acknowledged.
I see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And he doesn't like that, but that's okay. He is Brian Parker head to head.
I don't know if I'm being trolled right now or not, but hey, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so there we are with tariffs. We'll see what's happening now because after the stock market has crashed repeatedly over the last several days, now all of a sudden we need to do a pause. When it was obvious that this was going to happen once he made that decision. Can the world survive if every state takes away state taxes? No. Thanks, Anthony. What's going on, Anthony? Hope you're doing well, my man. Anthony asked, "Can the world survive if every state takes away state taxes?"
Well, so here's the thing with that. Okay, how are we paying for, again, the police, fire, all roads? Um, uh, as much as I don't want to be taxed by any means.
Right.
Let me put that out there. But taxes are a necessary evil, as it were. And so, could we do with a flat tax, or could we just? And that's one of the things that they're proposing is a flat tax where we don't do federal taxes anymore. Basically, if you make $100, um, the government taxes you, and you're really getting like $70, and then that's before your state taxes and stuff. Um, a flat tax, it's probably more complicated than I have time without a chalkboard to really get into the nuance of the difference between the flat tax and what the benefits would really be. But we do need taxes. We don't. It's not that we don't need taxes. What we need is to spend our money better. If you go to other countries, Japan being one of them, Japan is living in the future. And a lot of the stuff that we're talking about in the future is real. Just some of the cleanest cities in the world and stuff. Well, how do they get that way? Well, that's what they spend their money on. In America, a lot of our money gets diverted to pet projects, to bridges that don't go anywhere, to buildings that are never occupied, to things that create money and kickback for our public officials and stuff, but don't necessarily benefit us as taxpayers. If Doge was going to do anything, those are the kind of things that they would be looking out for, and canceling the contracts for those kind of things. That's not what they're doing.
Well, let me also piggyback off of that. It's not so much the taxes; it's the stagnation of wages. The federal minimum wage has not increased since 2009. In 2009, it was raised to $7.25 an hour. So if you are in a state that does not have their own minimum wage higher than the 7.25 an hour, then any taxes that you pay off of that hits differently than somebody that's in a state where they've elevated their minimum wage standards, whether it's Washington, New York, all those other places. So it doesn't feel the same because it isn't the same because we have not raised wages to go with the rise of inflation. So whatever you were buying in 2009 at 7.25 an hour feels even worse now in 16. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not right. Yeah, it is. 16 years later in 2025. It has not gone up since 2009. And they think that that's okay. They think that it should be that way. That there should not be, well, it's funny. They'll say, well, the states get to decide that it shouldn't be a federal thing. Jermaine just pointed out earlier, a lot of times the reason that we have to have federal requirements because states will do some effed up stuff. This is an example that if you give states the opportunity to raise the minimum wage on their own, look and see how many of them out there have not done so. And look at and then compare those to the poorest states in the country and compare those to the states that need more contributions back from the government and from the blue states to be able to survive. It's the same question Anthony is saying. If red states succeeded from the union, would they be able to survive? And I would give you right now, hell no. They don't make enough money to pay their own damn bills. They need blue states to be able to survive, whether they realize that or not. They don't believe that. And the reason they don't believe that is because we would never make them have to find out the hard way.
Well, like you said to our earlier conversation, what is it that America produces? And so if you take, like a Mississippi, what do you get from Mississippi?
Look at Lori, I love the face on that one. Exactly.
I mean, you're thinking, right?
Yeah. Don't worry.
Blues, music.
Not really. No. You ain't getting nothing from.
So to my brother's point, there are a lot of states like California that pay a surplus. They talk about the taxes. Republicans will always talk about it's a Democratic state. They pay so much in taxes and stuff. Yeah, but the tax they pay to the federal government and stuff helps subsidize the states that don't survive, like in Mississippi. And so they complain about it on one hand and then receive payment from that same state on the other hand without the acknowledgement and stuff. Sort of like kids.
Right. Right. But that's exact. But Anthony, that's a good question. We do need certain amounts of taxes. I always joke about Florida not having a state tax, and I'm like, well, no surprise, their roads are jacked up.
Well, really, you look at what happens when can you get away with it? Yeah, you have toll roads, and that way the people who use the roads are actually paying for the roads and stuff. But what about public? But what about public schools then? How do you fund your public schools? Well, that's local taxes, right? It's not a state tax. That you're local. If you're locally there, then you pay the local tax and stuff. Are there ways to answer your question, Nancy? Are there ways around it? Sure, there are ways around it, but what it really means is that you require your local government to be proactive and fiscally responsible with their tax money. But I'll tell you, there's almost no city out there that's not begging the state for money and grants to help with projects and stuff. Because remember, the biggest thing for local government, how they get their money, is property tax. So let's look at the prices of homes, how unaffordable and unattainable. I know my brother's we're talking about black home ownership and create generational wealth and stuff. But right now, with the stagnant wages, the higher prices, whether they be from tariffs or they be from other economical factors and stuff, it makes it hard for the average American to save enough money in order to purchase a home. I mean, generally speaking, if you were coming to me and said, "Hey, Jermaine, I want to buy a house. How much money I need?" I would tell you, you got about 20 grand for what? Well, you're gonna have to put a down payment on this house, assuming that you're not like a veteran and you're getting like 100% back loan where you don't have to put any down payments on.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the down payment, based on closing costs, which is really going to be your thing, based on home inspections and stuff like that. 20 grand is the least amount of money I think that you need to have on hand in order to complete the purchase of a home. And a lot of people just don't have 20 grand on.
Right.
A lot of times when people do, what they do is they borrow from their 401k. They take away out of there to get that done, which is not a bad strategy, right? But there's some people again with jobs and the way that they are set up and stuff from state to state, because there's some states that are union busters, and a lot of times states without unions and stuff don't have competitive employee benefits like 401ks and stuff. So again, regionally, that has a lot to do with what you can afford and why you can afford it. But if the state depends on, or the local government depends on people to pay property tax, it depends on people to be able to afford and obtain housing, not apartments,
Right.
housing.
Housing.
And so if that number starts to dwindle, their money starts to dwindle. That was the big thing during COVID and stuff. When things are going awry with the market and stuff, a lot of people are trying to figure out where they're going to get their money from.
Yeah.
When the financial, that's why when 2007, the recession happened back in the late 2000s and stuff, that was a big deal, not just for housing, because housing is actually a big block of how communities thrive. Because you think about the builders and everybody they employ, all the materials that they use, even if it's selling a pre-existing home and stuff. Think about the people that go through the transaction for the home buying process and how that benefits the community. Homeowners buy more things because they supply and they create demand for supply for certain things, whether it be your Home Depots, uh, whether it be for painters or electricians or HVAC. There are a lot of industries that are built solely around the maintenance of a home. And so if you don't have homeowners and you don't have, I'm sorry, Anthony's asking questions.
Oh yeah, I was going to answer them. Or
But I'll just wrap it up quick. Yes, it's hard to do it, Anthony, without taxes, because if you just or your police department's out there writing tickets for everybody that's speeding or jaywalking and stuff, and that's another way that people make money. But yeah, you kind of need you kind of need a tax system.
Yeah, some way or another. I mean, that's the whole point of taxes. Anthony, now answer your second question first. If you take money from your 401k, don't you have to pay it back? Absolutely.
Yes,
You should. Now, if it's
you
stored,
don't have to.
yeah, you don't have to, but you will get taxed for it.
Yes, the next year on your taxes, you will have to pay. You will have to pay whatever you took out. It'll add to your tax bill.
So
You'll
it's a
have to
difference
pay that year.
between cashing out your 401k, which would be a tax burden, or borrowing against your 401k. If you borrow against your 401k, like what Lori and I did to buy our house, yes, I have biweekly payroll deductions that go back into my 401k.
Yep,
Um,
no penalty.
and no penalty, the same way that I already have contributions from my paycheck that go into my 401k every time I get paid anyway. So what happens is, but think about it this way, Anthony, would you rather borrow from yourself or from a bank? Because even when there's a interest rate attached to what you're paying
You're paying yourself back the interest.
yourself back. So I'm borrowing from myself, which means I am the bank.
Yep.
I'm fully vested. I'm borrowing from myself. So I am the bank. I'm not Wells Fargo. I'm not Bank of America. I'm not Truist. I'm Bank of B, which is extraordinary to be able to do. when you want to make a purchase like that. But it's a great thing to do. Um, and you pay your and you can choose, how much you're paying back, and you can relatively pay it off, in a couple years, and be done with it. Which is what I've been doing for a couple years now, and I only got about another year to go, so I'm good. Um, so that was good. I'm sorry, Lori, go ahead.
I was going to say, in B we trust.
Oh, she is. Oh yeah, yeah. She's trying to get back on the good side after the hairline thing. It ain't working though.
It
Anthony.
was for me. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I know you did. Anthony's other question was, you think we need a boost in the minimum wages again for people to survive? Well, I'll frame it to you this way, Anthony. If you're only making $7.25 an hour, that comes out to $15,080 a year. Now, if you are, let's just be generous in your cost of living. Let's just say you do live in Mississippi and you're paying $1,000 a month in rent, which which I know where you live, Anthony. You ain't paying that. But let's just say baseline you did $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year in rent. If you make $7.25 an hour, that would leave you with $3,080 for the rest of the year.
Actually, not even that because you hadn't taken taxes out of that.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, you're right. Out of yeah. Well, you don't get taxed much off of $15,080.
Yeah, but it's not the full 15 though. It doesn't matter if it's only 1,000. If you only pay $1,200 out of that for taxes and stuff, you're still not getting the full 15.
Here's what Anthony says to that. And Anthony, this is the biggest lie that they have tried to tell us for the longest. If they boost the wage, everything else going to go up.
So, and my brother's absolutely right. You know how what companies have been doing is that they've been buying back their own stocks to make sure that their shareholders are turning a profit and stuff. They are not losing money. Um, it is a lie. It is a lie. What they mean is, and so the inherently carnivorous thing about free market
I like that
stuff
word.
is that well, because it's like I think of piranha, it's like it's an insatiable need for profit. You can't, as a CEO, make 2 million this year and then make 2 million next year.
Right. That ain't good enough.
That's not good enough. We need to see. Well, okay, we made 2 million last year. Why are we not making 3 million this year?
Mm-hmm.
And we make 3 million next year. We need to make 5 million the next year.
Yeah,
And
because
so, how do we do that? Well, the easiest way to do that is to underpay our workers and not
right.
offer them benefits, or cut and reduce benefits, or cut or do it through things where we're not offering people 40 hours a week because we don't want to give them benefits and stuff. You can only work 32 hours a week. There's the companies do all kinds of things, and that's the reason. Like when we talk about regulation and why does the government put its hand in so many things? Because businesses have been shown that businesses are not people,
Right.
and they're run by people, but they're not people, and they don't care. All they want from you is labor.
And Anthony, think about it this way. Do you know why they will continue to underpay you? Because then they know that you will apply for Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, that you will go to the government for subsidized benefits that they don't have to pay because they know the government is there, which is
And that's
crazy. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
well, and that relates back to the well, why is the government taking care of so many people? Because we won't force businesses to take care of their people.
Correct.
So, but it's okay if the Panthers want a new stadium next year. Guess what Charlotte's going to do? They're going to put a bond on the referendum, and they're going to pay for a
No,
billionaire,
a billionaire.
billionaire. They're going to pay to build him a stadium, and you're telling me that there's not enough money.
And that I got, and that I got, and that I, and me and my $15,080 got to pay for it.
Got to pay for it. Make it make sense, baby.
For being there.
Yeah.
So what they do, Anthony, is they tell you that, hey, we would love to pay you more, but if we pay you more, then that's going to drive up the price of everything else. Well, if that was true, then why the hell are we doing tariffs?
And you got to understand, just the CEO position most companies make 1,000 to 2,000 times more than their average employee. So what you're actually saying is, well, could you live off 100 times more than I make? I
Right.
don't know, because I got to have my golden parachute. You're talking about, you're talking to people who are concerned about their fifth home in Tahoe, and you're trying to get one home for you
Or
and your multiple children.
they've
Um,
had the same Gulf Stream for 5 years and they need the newest one.
yeah, you're not talking to normal people with normal needs.
You got a bus pass, they got a Gulf Stream.
Yeah, and yes, they're lying to you.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Um,
It's a lot.
there's actually, I'd had to research him, but there's a guy out there who studied by Harvard Business. He minimum salary for his employees is like $70,000 or $80,000 a year. He's the CEO. He doesn't take more than like 150 as a CEO, but and everybody gets full vacations and stuff like that. He's like they get more applications to his company, like, and the retention there is wonderful at his company, and because he's like, you can pay people a living wage so they can enjoy their lives and their families and stuff and take care of their people. He said it does require, like, people at the top not to have so much, but what's more important?
Well, I mean, and think about where the Republican Party is right now. I'm going to bring it full circle to you. They're willing for you to struggle off $15,080 a year because they know that uh, the companies don't have to pay you more because you will seek government assistance. And now the Republican Party is saying, well, you know what? We want to sit there. Now, we're not forcing the companies to take care of their employees and give them a living wage. So those are more profits. The less they have to pay you, the more money that they make.
Hmm.
Well, they're like Jermaine just said, they're not losing money. But what is it that the Republicans just passed today was the framework to go ahead and give them another $3 trillion in tax cuts when they're not even paying right now their fair share of taxes so that they can properly pay you. Okay. So they're already now working out how to give them, even like Jermaine said, what was 2 million this year can't be 2 million next year. So they're already working out a way to give them more money. So they're not paying what they should right now. And now they just passed the framework where they're going to have to sit there and give them even more. Now, the only way that they can make this work is if they start to pillage from safety net programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Even if you hear them say, we have not introduced anything like that. Well, they just started the framework. So listen over the next couple of weeks when they actually have to start putting pen to paper and writing down
Well,
to get to that number.
yeah, it's semantics, really.
It is right now
Semantics,
until they
really,
have to
because
actually spell it
because
out.
what they're saying is, oh, we're not planning on doing that. Well, they've been ordered, and there are different chairs have been ordered to reduce their budgets by whatever, and the only way to do that is to dip into those social programs and cut them,
Yeah,
because those are the majority of their budgets in order to meet the goal
you can't
that's been
take
presented
800
to.
million to $1 trillion from commerce without affecting Medicare. You can't because Medicare makes up over 80% of the budget of it.
Yeah, so them saying that they're not doing it is simply they had not put it to paper yet, like my brother said, but they are doing it,
They're doing
and that is their intention and stuff. And the crazy thing is like Social Security is a program that funds itself. The only reason that we have any problem with Social Security is because that all that money was just sitting there, and back in the '70s they said, "Hey, we need to borrow, so we need some of that money. We'll put it back." Well, the
it.
reason they want to cut these programs is because they never want to pay back the money that they borrowed.
And on top of that, the other reason security is not solvent is because they only tax up to the first hundred, I think it's $140,000 of your salary. So if
Hmm.
you are a multi times over millionaire, if I make 140,000, Jermaine makes $2 million a year, we both pay the same in Social Security because after the first 140, Jermaine doesn't pay anymore off of his net worth. So if you cap it out at something like, oh, I don't know, maybe your first $1 million, and you're Elon Musk and you're worth $350 million, Elon Musk is the same in Social Security as somebody that makes $140,000 a year, and he's the richest man in the world. Elon Musk just took over a $13.5 billion contract from the Pentagon. Elon Musk, since 2009, has taken well over $90 billion from the government in contracts and pays the same in Social Security as somebody that makes $140,000 a year, which is 10 times more than somebody that works and makes $7.25 an hour. That's why Social Security is insolvent, is because the cap on how much goes to Social Security is ridiculously low. That's why. That's why I can't stay solvent. That's why they want to reach into it. Because to Jermaine's point, it would be self-funding and it would not require cuts. But because military will never be considered a cut, always an increase, um, and because true efficient government spending will never be put on the table, um, now they have to go to the social programs and say, we know your companies don't pay you what they should, but we're going to make it even worse. And why do we know that? Look at Trump's cabinet. They're all billionaires, all of them, or multi-millionaires. Most of them are billionaires, whether it's Dr. Oz, whether it's Linda McMahon, whether it's Besant. They're all million and billionaires. Who are they looking out for? They're looking out for them. Do you know what all the billionaires have? You want to know why Trump had to suspend the tariffs? If you look at it, most when you think about Elon Musk, you think about Warren Buffett, you think about um, um, Bezos. Most of their net worth is in stock. What's been crashing over the last week? Stock. Who got Donald Trump reelected? You or the billionaires? That's why he stopped, because it started hurting them. And they said, hold up, Donald. I Now look, I told Lori the other day, Jermaine, I looked at my 401k and it said since January the 1st, I done lost $3,200. My little bit of money in my 401k, I'm $3,200 lighter. How much lighter is Elon? How much lighter is Linda McMahon? How much?
Well, I will say this, and so there are complexities, and what I mean by that, when it comes to stocks and stuff, is that you can bet for and against the market. So when
Yep.
the market's crashing and stuff, you can put what's called puts if you're doing option trading
True.
and
True.
bet against the market and make money,
Off.
saying, "Hey, yeah, the say Tesla is selling at 240 or that's close to what it was selling for. I think in the next couple of weeks it's going to be at 220, and I can put basically a bet in that says I think it's going to get down to 220, and I put money in and as it crashes out heading towards that money towards that goal and stuff, I can make money off of it. So
Yep.
best believe that what the real um, zinger is, and I think I sent you this clip. Donald Trump has been quoted. He said, "Hey, I like a good recession because then I can buy things that normally I could afford. I would have to pay too much for." So
Right.
a lot of things. This is it, and that's why the focus is on people doing trading when he paused it, because there was going to be a natural bounce back to the economy. So he tanked it for 3 days. It goes down to a low price, so now you can go there and buy stocks for a lot cheaper than it was. You announce a pause, all of a sudden you get the best comeback. It comes with 2,600 points on the Dow, and people make millions of dollars,
Yep.
and then they sell off, and then you take it again, and you keep rinse and repeat. I'm a buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. That's what's going on. And again, it may seem like, say, well, why did he pause it? Well, because it was time to buy low, and then it's time to sell high. They're not fools. They're doing it, and they're doing it out in front of you. They play is young black girl say, you playing in my face.
Yep, very much. We're gonna leave it right there, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in for another week of Head to Head with Brian Parker. Thank my co-host Lori Parker and the franchise for joining us this week. Tune in next week, and we will see you guys. Before I go, public service announcement.
Get home and raise your kids! Oh my gosh!
That part too. All right.
Now keep that thing on me.
Keep that thing. Oh my gosh. Peace. Thanks, Andre. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all again next week. Peace.
This is ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the